I have men at my back, and you stand alone and defy me. I'm not alone.
When you join the OBB family, you're never alone. This is Tim, the New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about Brian Banks' contract for a moment. Want to talk about the salary cap. And want to talk about, does the Banks contract preclude the Giants from trading back up into the first round to maybe grab a quarterback? I'm only thinking about this because the report came out that the Giants are concerned. I know this is shocking news. The Giants maybe have some concerns about the durability and the health of Daniel Jones. Two neck injuries and an ACL in 3 years. Yeah, I probably have, and he's only had one healthy season in 5, and that healthy season was average. Yeah, I probably have some concerns about him as a quarterback as well. I really would. It only makes sense. But as the free agency rolls through, as the trades come in, as the numbers come in from the salary cap, I've been watching these numbers closely over and over again, and at the moment, not all the contracts have been reported, so we don't have all the details. We don't have all the information. I mean, I don't have any of the full information on the Jalen Mills contract. I don't have we don't have full information also on the Isaiah McKenzie deal. So we don't have all the information in front of us yet. So by my estimation, currently, estimated cap space in total, and that's minus the Rule 51. The Rule 51, of course, is you only the top 51 contracts count right now against the salary cap. We've talked about that how many times? A million times, guys, ad nauseum. It's not till camp breaks that you go for the full 53 contracts. So I mean that's what we need to look at right now as well. We also need to look at what the Giant projected rookie pool is. Right now, their potential cap hit for the rookie pool is going to be about 10.4. Now, you have to remember that entire number does not count directly against the salary cap, of course, because there's signing bonuses, there's salaries, there's everything else. So you're probably going to need additionally right now about $4 to $5 million to cover your rookie pool until camp breaks. So, like I said, so it's not like something you're going to need. It's not money you're going to need right away, but it is money you're going to need because also you need to remember those contracts aren't even on the books yet because those contracts aren't even signed yet. So you really can't even fully estimate where you're going to be at with those numbers, but you figure if everyone makes the team, all 6 picks, you're looking at a potential cap hit with the Rule of 51 of 8, total cap hit of 10 for your salary pool. I mean, rookie pool right now. And right now, those rookie pool numbers aren't even put into the equation of the salary cap because of the fact that those numbers haven't even been finalized. So I keep looking at the Burns deal. I keep looking at it, and I keep looking at it from a football perspective in regards to the salary cap. We've talked about it yesterday. You now, as a team or an organization, have almost 40% of your salary cap tied up into Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, Brian Burns, and Dexter Lawrence. I think it's like 44.8%. I forget the exact number. We actually had the number broken down before, and that number is going to change. But you have a large portion of your salary cap tied up into 4 guys. One of them, of course, is going to be a guy who's taken up almost 18% of your cap, who is probably not going to be here next year in your quarterback. But we have to worry about this year. We can't continuously worry about next year. But we got to worry about what's in front of us right now. So the top 4 contracts on our books right now equals 44.68% of the cap. And that's Jones, Thomas, Burns, and Lawrence. You're giving Brian Burns $23.5 million cap hit this year. He's got a dead cap number of $76 million. And like I said, the dead cap number doesn't matter to me because of the fact that you're not going to get rid of Brian Burns this year. You're not moving on from the guy you just acquired. But once again, the Giants are sitting top heavy with 44% of almost 45% of their cap tied into 4 guys. That's not a good look for a bad team. That's not a good look. That's not exactly where you want to be. And I just keep going over the Brian Burns things in my head over and over again. And I'm not saying compensation wise, what we gave up for Burns was a bad deal. No, it's actually a very good deal. I'm not saying that Brian Burns is not going to be this stalwart defensive defender for the New York Giants. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying any of that. But I am saying this. Pat Kerwin said it best on what was it, Moving the Chains the other day. He goes, I like the move for the Giants, but they're paying this guy $25 million a year, and he's an 8-sack guy. And that's not the first time that I've heard that he is outside of his one season. Like I said, we should have learned this lesson from
King of the almost sack.
You can't take total stock into one season. You got to kind of look at what he's done his entire career, 7.5, 9, 9, 12, 8. And we've broken down the tackles. We have broken down the numbers. We've broken down the fact that, is he a good player? Yes. Is he going to be a potential disruptive force for the New York Giants? I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. I wish I could tell you what he's going to do, what he's going to be. And anyone that could tell me that he is going to be this guy that's going to be this destroyer, you can't tell me that, because his stats and his records and everything else kind of preclude me from from thinking that way. And I think about it. I think about players like, he's supposed to be this big new disruptive force to go along with Kayvon Thibodeaux. Okay, I think of players like, and I look at his stats and look at what we're paying, and I'm thinking of players like Khalil Mack. You take the first 5 seasons of Khalil Mack's career. 4 sacks, 15, 11, 10 and a half, 12. You take a look at his total tackles each season, 76, 77, 73, 78. Oh, I'm sorry, and 47 when he had, and he also missed 3 games that year in 2018. And you take a look at his solo tackles compared to assists, 59 to 17, 57 to 20, 54 to 19, 61 to 17, 37 to 10. And again, that 2018 season, he missed 3 games. You just kind of look at this and you see, okay, well, he is literally, Khalil Mack is a disruptive force who is leading the point of attack. And we've talked about that. You take a look at Brian Burns, 7.5, 9, 9, 12.5, 8. Take a look at his tackles, 25, 58, 50, 63, 50. You take a look at his solo tackles compared to assists, 19, 6, 25, 23, 31, 19, 34, 28, 29, 31, 18. And this is a guy that we're giving a large chunk of our salary cap to. This is a guy that we are saying is going to come in and he's going to be a tandem with Kayvon Thibodeaux. I mean, is he a good player? Like I said, I have friends and family who live in North Carolina. I got friends and family that live in Charlotte and in Cary. And I have friends and family that are season ticket holders, and they all said the same thing. Yeah, he was a really good player, but he was just that, a really good player. He wasn't this stalwart. He wasn't, at times he wasn't a difference maker. We talked about it. We talked about it the other day, how many times we went through where he had either no tackles or just one. I think last year he had like 7 games, or how many games he went without a sack. And the stats eerily remind you of Kayvon Thibodeaux. And the only reason I'm bringing all this up is this. And like I said, I'm not saying he's not going to be a great player, but you're taking a large portion of what you wanted to do in the offseason and you're giving it to this guy. Yeah, he's only 25 years old, but is he still going to be in his prime when you're still good, when you're good? Now, the reason I keep bringing this up is my salary cap numbers without the rule of 51 and without certain contracts has me over like $1 million, has me about $1.5 million for the Giants, which brings us around $3.5 to $4 million with the rule of 51. Now, of course, you are going to see if Waller retires, which will give you 6.7. You're probably going to have to move around some of the money for Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. But again, I don't want to play kick the can down the road because, yeah, while you can convert some of that money into salary, you're also going to have to push some of the money into 2025. I don't want to do that because we talked about this. We talked about this last time. Everyone at the beginning of the season told me last year, we're going to have $100 billion in cap space. Okay, remember when we had $100 million in cap space in 2025, just a week ago? We're down to about $60 million with only 29 contracts. And of course, you are going to probably get rid of the Daniel Jones contract, which is $41 million. But you have 27, 21, and 20 for Thomas. You have for Burns, Dexter, and Thomas. So again, for three guys, you have almost 25% of your salary cap tied up into these three guys. If you're a rebuilding team, that's not a way to build a roster from bottom up. You're building it from top down. And the problem is when you're building something from top down, you better have additional talent in the middle of your roster. Like I said, I was dying when people were like, whoa, we have like $100 million in 2025. No, we're already down to 60. You see how this works, guys? You keep kicking. We've talked about it before. You keep kicking the can down the road. All you keep doing is putting yourself in a position, salary cap wise, to not make your team viable. Now, the issue is this. Let's say we want to trade back up into the first round to get a pick. Here's the problem. Let's say you trade up to let's say you take your pick at 6, which your rookie cap number is going to be $6 million. And let's say you trade back up, let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say you want to grab Penix and you trade back up to 15. Well, your rookie cap number, your guaranteed rookie cap number is $3.5 million. Even if you go all the way down to 21, your rookie cap number with the prorated bonus is $3 million. You barely have $1 million now without the rule of 51. With the rule of 51, you have about 3. You could, like I said, if Waller retires, you get that 6.7. You could probably get some more. You're going to get some more cash by renegotiating some of the contracts. But you still need an additional 10 for your rookie pool. Joe Schoen has always talked about using the phrase that we love to use here all the time, operational cap space. And at the end of the day, if you have this consideration of moving back up, you've already given away your your second round pick, which is not the Seattle pick. Not Seattle pick. Yeah, it's not the what you call it. Yeah. We gave away our own pick. We've given away our own pick. And we've swapped fifth rounders. So we went in the fifth round from 140 to 160. And now we have the contract for Burns. We have additional money. We've given away additional revenue. Additional cap revenue. Of course, we have done that. And also draft capital. And at the end of the day, we're going to need to move at least $30 million around to pay for the rookie class, to have his $10 million in operational cap space, and then to turn around and have some money to continuously sign some free agents and go. Like I said, I haven't even included the Isaiah McKenzie or the Mills contract or any other contract that we currently have on the books.
Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, Tom, it sounds pretty bad. And I'm not saying that Brian Burns' addition was not a good pick. If you are the 49ers, if you are the Dolphins, or you are Dallas Cowboys, if you are the Eagles, or you are one of these teams who are looking to make a move to have that playoff push to move into the Super Bowl, the Brian Burns deal is a great deal because of the fact that you are a defensive end away. We still need a true defensive end on this team. We still need a tackle. We still need at least 2 outside linebackers, a CB2. A starting safety, another guard, depth at the tackle, a second running back, at least 2 wide receivers, potentially 2 tight ends, and a quarterback. But don't worry, like Pat Kerwin said, we went out and paid $25 million for an 8-sack guy. And then Giant fans like, well, we'll just trade up. Let's trade up and let's trade back in the first round. That was my big thing. Let's trade back in the first round. Let's take someone like, won't you be my neighbors? Trade back up to get Penix. But you've already burned through some of your draft capital, where in fact you only have 6 picks this year. You lost that additional second, which was your second, which was the Giants' second. You took a pick that was 5th that was run 40. Now you're down to 162. And if you take a look at your salary cap, like I said, if you look at the rookie cap numbers, hell, even if you trade with the Packers at 25, you're still at 2.8. $2.8 million of additional salary you're going to need to find with two contracts. And that was the other thing, like with Daniel Jones and Dexter Lawrence. Those contracts maturated together. So you'd be looking at a salary of $795, a $2 million bonus with a $2 million cap hit. That's if we took the Packers pick. If we trade up for the Packers pick. Not to mention the compensation we're going to have to give up to get to the pick. I just think that sometimes, we get, and we've said this before, sometimes we get so enamored with the name. It's Brian Burns. Okay. But let's look at the totality of what this contract's going to do. Is Brian Burns going to be a guy that's going to get you an additional 2 to 3 wins a year? I don't know. Is he going to be that destructive force to go on with Kayvon Thibodeau? I don't know, because I see a lot of games where he had no sacks, no tackles, and maybe an assist. And people say, well, he's on a bad Carolina team. Well, yeah, you know what? But there's a lot of good players on bad teams that accumulate stats. And I've said this before, that even if you play on a bad team, somebody on that bad team needs to accumulate the stats. And sometimes I tell people when a player comes up from a real bad team, you kind of take some of their statistics with a grain of salt because they may be inflated because someone has to make the tackles, or someone has to catch the ball, or someone has to run the ball. I don't know, guys. It's just going to be interesting. I'm just throwing this out there. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And again, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.